always just get attacked when like defenders.
I think like
VAR, we got the job done. I thought VAR was meant to come in when it's clear and obvious. I think it was clear and obvious that was a penalty. That is the only way Arsenal win the Premier League. That performance, when we're up against it, that is what needs to become the minimum. That is what you've seen Liverpool do and other teams do. Arsenal fans were shocked by how we came from behind. You know, big up the boys. We'll get into that. That needs to become the minimum. Control the controllables. I think us Arsenal fans were in that trap of, you know, if the ref never done this and that. And clearly the ref, Mr. Jared Gillett, whatever his name is a big talking point today. But isolated to the controllables, we could have done better for the goal we conceded. We found a way to get it done. Typically, you know, we're very vocal when we want to talk about Mikel Arteta and all of that. Your game management, let alone the 11 that we saw start there, that was what we wanted to see. Your game management was spot on. Big up my players as well, because there are going to be games like that. Now, St. James's Park isn't an easy ground to go to. I think we started well. We was aggressive. You know, Trossard's hit the post. Gyökeres is, you know, normally chances aren't being created for you. And I wouldn't say a bag of chances were created, but today it's more on you. Either your touch was baggy or you're just not making it happen. But anyways, Trossard, Eze, Gyökeres, they went close. We was doing well. You know, there was a lot of smoke, but they weren't cigar. Now, clearly, I think that's a penalty. It wasn't given. We know if the shoe was on the other foot, what would have happened. We know we're going to see that in similar circumstances, that penalty is going to be given against my football club. Granted, next week in the Premier League, a similar incident will happen in a game that is irrelevant to Arsenal and Newcastle and be given. Either way, control the controllables, and we did. Shout out to Martin Odegaard for his cameo. Shout out to Mikel Merino. Shout out to Gabriel Magalhaes. Shout out to everybody, really, that did their thing. Timber, you'd be my man of the match. Of course, you didn't score one of the goals, so you're not going to get the headlines. Timber was superb in all aspects. Saka, I think he was only good for 40 minutes. I needed to come off. I did think we'd see Mikel Merino. You did well. Eze, I think there's more to come, but I think you was a constant threat. Zuba Mendinho, I call you that for a reason. In a game where you're playing against an English side, you know, you've seen what it's like against at Anfield. You've seen what it's like against City at our place. You also did very well. Gyökeres, I think your general play and all of that was quite there. But it was a case of when chances are falling to you in the box, you're not sorting your footing out. So today you have to hold that. Eze, as I said, there's more to come, if I'm honest with you. Calafiori did your thing. It was actually nice to see Calafiori kind of playing as more of a traditional left winger, and obviously Gyökeres inverting, sorry, not Gyökeres, Trossard inverting inside. So yeah, obviously the game's going to be marred by, you know, the goal that, you know, the VAR, which it wasn't given. Obviously, you know, Mascara, talented boy, don't do a complete 360 on him. Gave away an unnecessary corner. Gabriel Magalhaes, horrible defending from that set piece for Walt made to score. And to be honest, in terms of improvement for a team that's one of the best defensive sides, not only in this league, but also in Europe, the last two goals we've conceded in back-to-back games against Manchester City and today weren't good enough. But you have to get it done. I'm a big fan of just get the 3 points, especially when you've seen Liverpool drop points and all the rivals, so we can laugh at them. Liverpool aren't going to drop too many points this season. So when they do, be there to pounce. And we had to come from behind, which makes it sweeter. We was up against it, VAR. Nothing to do with Newcastle. Big up Newcastle as a football club, their fans. Eddie Howe, even though I don't know how Bruno Gomares and Joe Linton weren't booked early on. I think there was a lot of time wasting from Nick Pope, but it makes it all sweeter. And, you know, 3 ugly goals, 2 for us, 1 for Newcastle. You know, there were goals that we probably expected to happen. You know, obviously Marino's taking his chance and scored. Pope was horrible today. Great shot stopper. I must admit, a bit like against City. You'd be forgiven for thinking as an Arsenal fan, it's not going to be our day, but that is how you win titles. That isolated today is the champions mentality. Fuck VAR, we got the job done. It's as simple as that. As I said, Arteta, subs, the way he started the game, spot on. Individuals, made it happen. Mascara, silly corner to give away. Gabriel scored at the end. Poor, really and truly. Saliba, I didn't agree with Mascara coming off. I don't think he put a foot wrong, bar the obvious. But I hear it, Arteta. I think apart from Saliba's dodgy touch, which was probably his first touch 30-odd seconds into the game, you did well. Rice, another one that will go under the radar today. I think you did your thing. Lewis Skelly in the cameos, you did your thing. And every player stood up to be counted. I saw no hiding. I saw everyone that wanted to make the difference. I just did think it's just not going to be our day. It felt like too much was against us in that game, but we found a way to make it happen. You know, Mikel Arteta, you're learning from your mistakes, you know, and you're frustrating Arteta because you're a very good manager. You're a bit of a genius in ways, but I think you make things generally harder than it needs to be. Today, you didn't. Sometimes just dial things back. So Big up the subs for the impact. Big up everybody. We made it happen. And Gerard Hill, you're lucky that I am not a Premier League manager or owner of a football club. Because if that happened at the Emirates, I don't care if your phone's on 2%. You're not charging your phone. You're not using our shower facilities. You're not getting no food. Kick him out the state. Security, grab him. Come out the stadium. Because they love to gaslight us Arsenal fans about VAR and referees. And you see the incompetence in many a game, not just Arsenal, week in, week out. They wanted drama. You know, I had a joke with my subscribers when I was doing a watch along. You saw from the kickoff had to be restarted. You knew the ref was on antics. I mean, that's the full fifth time that referee's been there. They're all shit, but that's the full fifth time the refs managed us. You can't tell me my man ain't got an agenda. I know if the shoes on the other foot, several decisions are going our way, but are going against us, better yet. But it is what it is. You know, looking at my notes, I think we made a good start. As I said, 5 minutes in, Eze had a big chance. Nice to see him playing in midfield. I think we started well. It was moving the ball quickly, better yet, which is foreign to us. I think we was trying to pop it down the left-hand channel. I did like Trossard drifting inside, and I still think it's a bit of a missed opportunity not signing an out-and-out left winger. You know, not quite sure why the pen wasn't given, but it is what it is. First half, I think there was elements of it being end-to-end. You know, after half time, at half time, I'm thinking, is it going to be our day? Because I think we've done well. We started well. The manager's done what he needs to do. But, you know, when you're looking at Trossard and Eze's chances, you're thinking, is it really going to be our day? And then what made me didn't think it was going to be our day is obviously the sequences of events, which gave away an unnecessary corner against us. And then obviously what went to it. We did, you know, this is why we love football, and it was dramatic. Or I only love football because we won. I know if Arteta was Eddie Howe or Pep Guardiola, they drop points from winning positions. I know the diagnosis. Rivals, please delete your tweets. Sky Sports, please delete your messages. You can talk about if the pen wasn't given, and that's probably going to be talking about till Thursday, but isolate to the controllables. That is what wins you a title, but that needs to become the minimum. Because again, looking at the current champions, Liverpool doing that doesn't shock anyone. It kind of doesn't, but does shock Arsenal. So we got the job done. You know, it is what it is. We've had a difficult start to life. Made it happen, innit? There's several things we could have done better. On another day, football's decided in both boxes, and it is about fine margins. The goal we conceded, we're better than that. We should have taken our chances before that. But, you know, last 2 weeks, the last 10 minutes of games for Arsenal is quite entertaining. So I'm happy we won, man. I'm happy we won. You know, we've got St. James's out, you know, out the way now, a bit like Old Trafford and Anfield, which could be a gift and a curse. And now it's just on to next week, where we need to win in the Champions League against Olympiacos. West Ham's going to maybe be a different outlet because it's not Graham Potter, which could be a gift or a curse. It's going to be Nuno Espirito Santo. So we imagine them to be good defensively. Just control what you can control. And today we stood up to be counted. We did. Mikel Merino, you know, struck against his old team, and it's happy days, man. Smash the like button, all those sort of things, you know, and enjoy your day, Arsenal fans.
Always active when
I've been given like